welcome to the Hard Rock Show. I'm Shane.
I'm Andrew.
And more specifically, welcome to our midweek show, the HardRock Happenings.
We got a lot to go through this episode, so I guess we better just get straight into the mix.
Straight in.
Yep.
First of all, I just wanted to say that the Soundwave Revolution tickets are on sale. And
we've got ours.
we do.
Yep.
So hurry up and get yours because nobody wants to miss Van Halen.
Get there, see us there, say hi, all the rest. So.
Oh, I don't know. It's a pretty big crowd. I'd be surprised if anybody found us there.
Well, there's a challenge
You
for
never
you
know.
all.
Never
Find
know.
us.
First thing I wanted to mention for the week is that Queensryche have just put their new song, it's called Around the World, up on their Facebook site for free download. It's coming off their album called Dedicated to Chaos, and the album's going to be released on the 28th of June. So check that one out for sure.
Always good stuff, so...
And I'm sure we'll speak about that more when it actually comes out.
Yes, I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
Okay. My one, Roger Glover, former Deep Purple bass player. He's got a new solo album coming out on July the 12th called Life Was Easy. So that should be an interesting listen, I reckon. So I'll be hanging for that one to come out and get my hands on that. And...
I've actually been listening to a lot of Deep Purple lately. So
yeah.
I'll be definitely checking that one out when it comes out.
Well, he was one of the guys that drove the groove of that, so it'd be really interesting to see what he does on his own. I haven't heard any of his solo stuff previously, but this will be a good one.
Yeah. Speaking of new albums, Edguy, who I love, bit of power metal.
Yep, always good.
Yeah, they've got a new album coming out. That one's going to be called Age of the Joker. That's coming out on August 29th, so it's still a way off yet, but I love them. I can't wait for it, so I thought it was worth throwing out there.
No, that'll be interesting. So it'll be good to get some more new stuff. Not that we're not getting any anyway, but plenty of that coming through.
Definitely.
Now, Paul Rodgers, who some of you may or may not know, has done an album with the remaining lineup of Queen. I forget the name of the album off the top of my head. I don't know if you'll remember it either, but we have heard it. It is a good album.
You really challenged me on the fly there. I do know it. I've got it. But,
we'll move on.
The Cosmos Rocks.
Oh, you got it. Well done.
Yes.
Here's our own Eddie Trunk.
I wish.
Anywho, he has come out and said that they may go on tour again, him and Queen together. So that would be interesting. So we'll keep you posted with any new information. They've been on hiatus for a couple of years now, I think, but they might get around again.
Since about 2008, I believe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing them. I don't know if I'd bother, though. Queen without Freddie just isn't Queen.
Not the same.
But it'd be worth seeing Brian May, at least.
Yeah, and the other guys as well. They still put together a good show, just seeing what they've done with the tribute stuff and all that sort of thing. They always still put on a good show. So
yeah. Now, this is a very interesting one.
Yep.
Tom Araya,
yes,
singer for Slayer, has just been given the key to the city of his birthplace in Chile.
Yep.
Now, that's a member of Slayer that now holds the key to the city.
I'm tipping anything could happen at that point in time. This is Slayer we're talking about. If he gets the whole band down there and they get free access to an entire city in, what is it, Chile, isn't it?
Chile, yeah.
Yeah. Man, I'd love to be in that party.
The town's actually called Viña del Mar in Chile.
There you
go.
It's
interesting to note that it's actually going to be the first time that Tom Araya has ever played a gig in his birthplace. So
it's taken a long time to get there.
Definitely, because they're not spring chickens. So.
No, not at all. So that makes that very, very interesting. So yes. Okay, another little side topic. This one may or may not be controversial, but they've come out and said it themselves. DJ Ashba and Axl Rose. Not shy on controversy, at least Axl Rose isn't for sure.
Definitely not.
They have apparently managed to beat up a fan. Now, it was a private party. The fan came into the party posing as being a manager for the group or something, had a crack at one of the actual managers. So Ashba's stepped in, apparently got swung at. So he swung back, and then Axl saw it going down and just dove in. So they've come out and said it's all good. The fan thought he deserved it at the end of the day, and whatever else. He was drunk and walked in and whatever else have you. But that's a bit of an interesting one to go around doing. I don't recommend that for all the bands that we cover here. I
wouldn't mind being a fly on the wall watching that happen, actually.
It'd be interesting. Well, just watching the 1.5 stuff with how much crap Metallica were giving about the pencil neck and how weak and tiny he is, and then seeing if it can actually go would be something else.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I haven't got any more stories. Have you got any more stories to
I got
go
plenty
on
more down here.
Yeah.
Bob Daisley, original bass player for Ozzy Osbourne when he went solo, apparently has a stockpile of Randy Rhoads recordings which have never seen the light of day. Now, he is holding on to these things pending the dispute between him with Ozzy and Sharon. So I don't know if these...
long dispute. It's been going on for many years.
Well, he's come out and he's accusing him of rewriting history and all sorts of things. There's a bit of words, shall we say, are going back and forth with this one. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not any of those recordings ever see the light of day, but I'm tipping that until they can bury that hatchet somewhere really, really deep, it's going to be a hard one.
Also got to question whether he actually does have these recordings or if he's just using it as a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
But if there is any recordings out there that I've never heard of Randy Rhoads, I'd love to hear him because he was an amazing guitarist.
I think the world deserves to hear him, but this could be another similar case of what happened with Nirvana and Courtney Love and releasing the new track.
You Know You're Right.
That's the one. I had a mental blank there. But that was a big mess as well. So we'll wait and see how this one pans out. I really don't know how it's going to go. Another one that's an interesting note, and this might fire up a little bit of controversy. This is about Metallica. Okay. On our Facebook posts and things like this, we've gotten into a few debates regarding Metallica. We find ourselves sticking up for them. Certain other people don't like that very much.
No. There's a lot of people out there that have hate for Metallica these days.
Yeah, it's funny that how bands get out of your back pocket and whatever. Anyway, that's a long story for another time. I'm sure we're going to have a long debate about that. But they have just been voted in a Kerrang magazine poll the most influential band of the past 30 years. Now, I reckon that's a fairly legitimate claim to stake. I don't know if they'd be the most influential, but as far as Kerrang go and the metal world, you could say they would be.
Well, I suppose in 30 years, it takes you back to the 80s. Yeah. So it's probably true.
Yeah, it goes back a long way, and they've broken a lot of ground for a lot of bands that have come after. Yeah. Interesting side note is that Green Day came second.
Okay.
So
that's not one that I would expect.
No, neither would I.
Nothing against Green Day. I actually do like them, but
same here.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect them to be number 2 in 30 years of influential rock bands.
No, but that's a bit interesting. So I don't know what that does to the validity of the whole thing, but it makes it a bit more interesting. So there you go. Feel free to have your say on that one at us, folks.
Well, speaking of interesting, let's have a look at our interesting fact.
Yeah.
And this one takes the cake for interesting. I'm not going to say anything about it.
No, we found this one this week, so interesting stuff.
Check it out. All right, we're back.
Yes, so
that's just a quirky little fact, and thought it was worth throwing out there.
Yeah, I don't know how that came to pass, but I'd love to pick the brain of the guy that thought of that. Yeah. There must be some strange things going through that guy's head.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, you had one more news story that you wanted to
I did. Now, Brian Johnson has just released a memoir. Now we're going on to the new release sort of topic here. It's called Rockers and Rollers. So this one should be an interesting read. I'm going to get a copy of that myself sometime soon and sit down for a good few hours of reading because he would have some stories to tell.
Yes, I think he would.
Especially
absolutely
if he goes into any depth about what it was like for him to join AC/DC after the death of Bon Scott. That would be an interesting...
I think he would have to. I'm not sure how he could write a memoir and not touch on that in depth, at least. So
we'd hope so.
Yeah.
And that'll be interesting to get an insider's point of view just in writing, because it's always more descriptive than people trying to pose on camera and stuff about what actually went on there. That'll be really interesting. Yeah. Well, you've got a few things now you want to throw out there.
Got our CDs of the week.
Yes.
Now, the first one that I wanted to mention is Arch Enemy's new album, Chaos Legions. It's actually only out in certain parts of the world at the moment.
Yep.
It doesn't come out till the 7th of June in other parts of the world. But I've heard most of the album now, and it's awesome. Yep. Very, very heavy. We've got Angela Gossow on vocals.
Yep.
She is a very, very aggressive female.
That's one way to put it.
Not want to cross that one in any way, shape or form. She's absolutely gorgeous, but her voice sounds like it's got demons in it.
Cool.
Let's leave it at that. Yeah. Also, we've got a band from Melbourne with their release, Dead City Ruins, with their album Midnight Killer.
Yes.
Now, this is a fantastic CD.
Yep.
Straight up ballsy rock and roll. I love it to death.
Beautiful stuff.
Seen the guys live,
Yep.
and they put all the energy from the CD into their live performance. I mean, they rock out like a band that's been doing it for 20 years, spraying beer all over the crowd and everything. It was
good stuff.
Fantastic. And there wasn't a sober member in the band that night when I seen them live.
Even better.
Definitely check that album out.
Yep.
And then last is Saxon's A Call to Arms.
Yes.
I mentioned that this one was going to be coming out a few weeks ago.
You did.
Well, it's out now. It's, again, like Arch Enemy, it's only out in certain parts of the world. It won't come out until the 7th or 12th of June in the rest of the world. But it's out here, and it's fantastic. It's everything you'd expect from Saxon, who have been around for 30 or more years.
Yeah.
They were a big part of the new wave of British heavy metal, and they are still kicking ass today. So check that one out.
On that note, they've also just released a second part to their Making of Call to Arms video documentary type thing. So get on there and check that out. That'll be interesting to get behind the scenes and have a look at these guys too.
Yeah.
So,
well, I've seen their full-length documentary just recently, and they're a very interesting band behind the scenes. So,
I'm sure they would be. It's a long career, and it's interesting to see how the ones that go on through time and survive all this, the industry period, manage to keep it together and go about the business. It's always really interesting to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, this is a time when we bring out our Band of the Week.
Yes.
But before we do that, we just want to mention that one of our former Bands of the Week, in the way of Bad Omen, have just recently changed their name. They're now Omen, as opposed to Bad Omen. So, keep a lookout for Omen. Their first EP is coming out very shortly. So,
and we'll be able to bring you some coverage on that when we get our hands on it, so that'll be good.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But for now, and I know we've spoken about these guys before.
Yes.
Our Band of the Week is Star Renegade.
These guys
continue to impress.
Yeah. We just saw them this past weekend doing an acoustic set of all things. And this is what blew us away, is that they've managed to translate a solid rock album and make it acoustic and pull it off.
Yeah. Like we said, the album translates really, really well to the live setting.
Yes.
And then they take their live setting and it transforms really, really well into an acoustic setting.
Yeah.
And that acoustic gig was part of their 3 gigs in 2 days,
which we mentioned previously. Yeah.
And it was fantastic. They threw out an awesome version of Alice in Chains, No Excuses.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yes.
It was a short set. It was probably only 45 minutes.
45 minutes thereabouts. Yeah.
But it was fantastic.
Well, they had a little mini mosh pit with the children running around and stuff, so that was good for a laugh.
Jimmy was up on stage, high-fiving all the little kids down front. It was pretty funny.
That was good.
And we've actually got some footage of it that we will probably show you guys in the next few weeks.
Yep.
And we've also got an interview coming up with Star Renegade as well, so stay tuned for that.
Now, they've just undergone a lineup change, which they've announced as we film this today.
Yep.
They're replacing one guitarist with another. It's all very positive, nothing negative about it. It's just something they've had to do for whatever reasons. Yep. These things happen in bands, but it seems to have been done with no animosity. It's all gone very well, so we wish all parties involved the best for their future endeavours.
Definitely.
Yep. And
speaking of future endeavours, they've actually got a huge gig coming up at the Ferntree Gully Hotel, which is in Melbourne, on the 2nd of July. And everybody needs to get down there. There's a lot of room in this venue, and I'd love to see it filled.
We'll be there for sure. Yep.
And I'm sure that Star Renegade will, as usual, put on a fantastic show.
Get down there, fill it up.
Yep.
That's all we can say about it. Get out there. We'll put more details as it comes to light.
Definitely. And you can also, if you want, you can hit us up for pre-sale tickets on it too. So,
just contact us through Facebook.
Or
all the links
email,
are up. Yep.
And we'll make it happen. But anyway, that's all we've got time for.
Yep.
So stay tuned for our weekend show.
Yep. Got a few bands coming up, and more of the HardRock Happenings coming up in the future as well.
Always. As well as more tributes and classic albums down the line.
More of the same and more different stuff. So hang on, guys.
Yeah. And until you see us next, drink up.
Rock on.